Tonight, actor Ed Gale is facing allegations of having inappropriate online contact with an anti-pedophile activist posing as a teen boy.
Yes, I'm admitting I know it was wrong and it was illegal. I'm admitting that. And I'm sorry.
A shocking and disturbing admission by actor Ed Gale.
Ed Gale, or Little Daddy as he likes to be referred to, is an American actor and stunt suit performer, best known for his breakout roles as the body of Howard in Howard the Duck and Chucky in Child's Play. Due to drying up work and poor health, Ed has resorted to the occasional convention circuit and paid Facebook events to earn money to stay relevant. But Ed has had a starring role in the news recently when an undercover sting conducted by a group from Southern California called the cc.unit, otherwise known as the Creep Catcher Unit, an undercover sting operation that exposed Gale in conversations with an underage person. The head of the CC unit, named Ghost, confronted Gale with a ton of printed out evidence of Gale making sexual requests to someone he believed to be 14 years old. And what happens next is very disturbing and bizarre.
How old were these 10 kids?
Oh, that I couldn't tell you. That I could not tell you.
What was the youngest?
That I could not tell you. But I will say all under 18.
I came packing receipts today, so let's check it out. From Facebook to Reddit to public record searches, I've found a lot of things, I've seen a lot of things, and there are some things that may be very irrelevant, but I felt considering they might be they might be relevant, or not, maybe not relevant, but maybe just interesting. So we'll get into that too as we go. Now, for some reason, this has not made a lot of headline news. I don't understand why, but I'm not surprised at the same time, because we all kind of know how Hollyweird is. Even in the lower levels of Hollyweird, it's rampant. This isn't really the first time that Ed's been exposed as far as, you know, being a creep, especially with underage children. There is an Instagram group that there's an Instagram page that I found in my search through Reddit that's been around for a few years. And it's actually called Stop Ed Gale. And it goes on about his inappropriateness with grown men as well as minors. And this Instagram page, they come packing receipts too. So I will be putting the link in the description below, so you guys can go check out their page too and see some of the stuff that I did not share. Some of the stuff they have that you can find on other different forums as well. There was some stuff from Reddit I found. There was some stuff from Public Info I found. Some news clips that I found. The thing is though, is that no one is putting all of this together. So that's kind of what I ended up doing for everyone right now. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Hopefully I did an okay enough job for you guys. I did the best that I could to get all the factual information. But like I said, there are some things in here that may not be relevant, but I felt that they're interesting enough to mention. All these posts and more have been floating around places like Reddit and Facebook, so it's not like it's only isolated to Instagram. After reading numerous conversations between Gale and his victims, I can totally see a form of a grooming pattern, if you will. Ed likes to start off being friendly towards men, and even if they are not gay or interested, he turns it sexual very quickly. When called out for being inappropriate and told that that person is just not interested, he continues with his harassment, or he'll backtrack and gaslight. Now, some people, I have reached out to people in Reddit asking, you know, has anybody had any bad experiences with him, or any kind of experiences really? And I did get a couple that were like, you know, he was just very flirtatious. I didn't take it as anything inappropriate. I was just flattered and I just took it as a compliment, which is fine. For some reason, he just didn't take it further with that person. That's okay. I didn't see those messages. I was just told. But I have seen a lot of very damning messages. He likes to see who will call him Little Daddy or give him the most praise, and then he starts referring to them as his boo or future Mrs. Gale. He'll do it in his Facebook posts. He'll do it in messages. So he kind of gives that extra special attention to that person. Now, he's done some really weird Facebook Live videos. He hasn't done a lot. But but I've watched. Oh God, did I watch? In one video, he's not wearing pants, and he has to like tell everybody he's not wearing pants because he had to get up to cover himself, and he's just like, "Don't look, I'm not wearing any pants." Like, why? Well, I am wearing pants. That's just kind of a weird thing. Like, I'm not wearing pants, and then gets up. He also goes on about disciplining his dog with an electric fly swatter. I have one of those, but I would never hit my animal with it at all, ever. It's an electric shock. And his dog is quite small, like maybe the size of a small cat or a little smaller. So to me, that was kind of, I don't know, kind of made me go like, what the hell? Like, you're hitting your dog with the electric fly swatter, and then you use it to continue to, you know, freak your dog out about it, and you're kind of showing everybody, haha. Other than that, he likes to promote children's charities, which normally in any other circumstances that'd be, you know, that's totally fine. But when things start coming out about you like this and you're promoting children's charities, it kind of makes it a little cringy. Sorry, not sorry, it is. So now let's get into the people who surround Ed. Because like I said, this, from the information that I've collected and found in my researches, this is not just laid at Ed's feet at all. It is not. There are more people, way more people involved, more than I could even find. I'm very sure of that. So we're now going to get into the people around Ed's life. Now, in 1996, Ed's first audition landed him his big role in Howard the Duck. He wore the bodysuit and was like, did, you know, the walk-arounds and the stunts of Howard. He did not voice him. He did the same thing for the Child's Play movie later on in the 80s as Chucky. In the film Howard the Duck, Ed's co-star of the film, Jeffrey Jones, and him became really good friends while on set. And in 2014, during an interview, Ed went on about how close they got during filming, that they were always hanging out and talking. They had things in common. They would talk about acting and all kinds of other stuff. Interesting. In 2010, Jeffrey actually pled guilty and was convicted of trying to solicit from a minor as well as possession of CP. Of that, Jones got 250 hours of community service. He got 5 months probation. He had to undergo mental health treatment for his sickness, and he had to register on the sex offender registry every single year for the rest of his life. Jeffrey has been rearrested twice for failing to do so. One time they had to track him all the way down in Florida, living in his mother's house like a fucking loser. You wonder what he's doing nowadays? Go watch HBO Max, because apparently he's still doing fucking shows in Hollywood. Not surprised. Ed and Jeffrey were such good friends after filming that Ed said that he would host Jeffrey over for Thanksgiving after filming had ended. Now, the next person in Ed's life, the closest person to Ed in his life, would be his former husband, Maynard Brigado Gale, which, looking up Maynard was a little more, it was really difficult to find shit on Maynard, honestly. And it was just a big mess. It really was. There were old Twitter accounts that were, you can see if he ever commented on something, but if you click on the account, it said the account was deleted. There's a wicked old, like, decrepit MySpace page that I guess never transferred over when the new one came out, so you can't see old photos or anything like that.
Continues to incriminate himself during a confrontation with the child activist group known as the Creep Catching Unit.
And you said right here, you can lay in my lap while I rub your back
And your little girly butt, yes.
And what?
And your little girly butt, yes.
So you want to rub his butt?
Yep. Just like laying across my lap. You know,
Is that illegal? What is it?
It's extremely illegal.
The Facebook page that goes to Maynard is actually, it looks more like it might be his mother's account or some kind of account that his mother has that goes to a senior living facility in LA with the address for it and everything. But if you click on the website link, it takes you all the way to a facility in South Carolina that has the same name. but they're not the same company. So that was kind of weird. Like I said, just a mess. It was a big, weird mess. I don't want to get into that anymore. But Maynard and Ed have been together since the early 2000s, and the past few years they have not been together, from what I could find on the internet. Now, I started questioning. Maynard's been with them for a long time, and this has been, slowly leaking out for the past few years. So, did Maynard know about any of this? And if so, was Maynard helping? And as I dug through more and more into the internet, I found that I was right. Maynard is involved in this. And I think I asked that question because I do watch a lot of true crime. I love watching documentaries. I love learning how people think and why they do the things they do. That's, humanity fascinates me. I digress. But predators do not work alone. They have like this weird secret society, little club in their little sick heads that they like to be a part of. Because no predator ever goes their entire life without one person knowing, whether it's on the internet, whether it's some little social hee-hee club that they're a part of. They're never alone. They are never alone. So usually when that happens, somebody slips up somewhere. There's usually like a weak link in the chain somewhere. And Ed kind of did that. He was the weakest link. Goodbye. I found a photo in a conversation online that is allegedly between a 12-year-old and Ed. I say allegedly because it's saying that this is a 12-year-old, and it shows the message. I'm debating at this moment if I want to show the message because the photo's blocked out. Fuck it, I'm just going to show it. So in this photo, Ed is obviously in a rather compromising position, asking some very inappropriate things to this alleged 12-year-old. And in the conversation of the text, it says, "I can't send anything else until Maynard gets home." And obviously by looking at the photo, you can tell he did not take this photo himself. So obviously someone else took the photo. He says it's Maynard, so Maynard's obviously the one that takes the photos for him. Okay. Now, the next thing that makes me a little bit nervous when I was going through the public records search for the apartment complex that Ed was currently living in, or was living in at the time of the confrontation between the CC unit, the police, and himself, I found it really interesting. It's located less than 1 mile, in rascal distance of an elementary, a junior high, and a high school. Now, in this next clip that I'm going to show you, there was a neighbor who actually made a really disturbing report to the reporters from the KTLA that had shown up to get the story.
I've heard people coming from his apartment, sitting in the backyard, talking about, Ed, the guy who played Chucky, he likes young boys. I can get young boys here for him, like soliciting people for Ed. So that's kind of when my ears perked up.
So if you pay attention to the way that this neighbor had stated what she heard and how she heard it, it kind of sounds like to me that this person telling another person about this was excited and they were bragging about it to another person. Now, the thing is, though, is that this is not cool to do. Any person with morals that is just a human being would not think that this is cool to even hear someone bragging about this. So obviously this person that's bragging about it to another person is cool with this. That's another person we throw on that list. And they're bragging about it to someone else. Now, normally you don't talk about things unless you know that other person's cool about it. So that's another person we add to that list. So if you count it, including Ed, that's 5 people. That's 5 fucking people minimum that is involved in this. Because now we've got to go back and find these 2 people who are bragging about it, find out who they are, what they do and how they're involved in this, and who does it trickle on from there. It's just a fucking rabbit hole of tunnels. It blows my mind. What's also really weird is that the apartment complex itself which I read was it's like 14 apartments total. There are multiple children's based businesses located in this apartment complex. One is for young actors. There's another one called Comics for Kids. Now, I'm not saying that these people are associated whatsoever. I just think it's really, really, again, just really weird and creepy. Maybe he chose to move into this apartment complex because it was so close to schools and because of the businesses in there, or I don't know. Now, even though Ed has boldly confessed to all this on film, he still has not been arrested.
You said it. People are asking, why is this man still free?
Yes, I'm admitting I know it was wrong and it was illegal. I'm admitting that. And I'm sorry.
Actor Ed Gale admits on camera to sexting a 14-year-old kid and several other minors.
How many other victims do you have, Ed?
I'm going to say 10.
10 kids you talk sexually online.
I guess, yeah.
The important question there is what his intent was, and if he took steps to affect that intent, to make that intent a reality, that is a crime.
Attorney Samuel Dordulian is a former LA County prosecutor. He says the investigation into this type of case can be lengthy, but he believes it's only a matter of time before Gale is arrested because the actor allegedly set up a meeting with the intent to have sex with a person he thought was a 14-year-old boy.
It's got to be the
I've read in statements from the LAPD a couple of different things. One, taking his health into consideration because he has an oxygen tank. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Put him in a hospital bed. Chain him to a hospital bed. The other one is that this is still an ongoing investigation, that things take time. I call bullshit on that one too, because if you confess to a murder, if you walk into the police station and say, I murdered somebody, they're not going to just say, go home until we figure this out. They're going to put your ass in a cell until they figure out otherwise. They're not just going to let you back out on the street. You admitted to being a predator of some sort. You don't just get to walk out like that. I don't know, but Hollywood's different, I guess. So here we go. Okay. So this story is slowly making its way through the horror community with mixed reactions. Some fans are completely in shock and awe. And some are actually just like, I'm really not surprised because it's happened to me. It's been going around on the internet. Or we've been hearing about this on the internet with the receipts that came with it. So some people just are not surprised. Like I said, a lot are very shocked, especially a lot of content creators in the horror community, because he's been on so many shows. You know, he's been on so many independent horror shows. People have promoted him. You know, he's become friends with a lot of people, and a lot of people are just really saddened by that. You know, and I never met him. I never want to meet him at this point. So I never had that opportunity, thankfully, to be in that kind of a contact or be in that kind of a situation with him where it could have turned into like a professional friendship or possibly a friendship. Because honestly, at this point, this man has he's betrayed so many people. I mean, when you do things like this, you're hurting a lot of people, and it ripples, if that makes sense. You know, if he's a friend of yours, he comes off as a really good person. You had no clue that this was going on. He basically used you. That's all it is. He used you. You are not part of what he's got going on. If you're an innocent person, you have nothing to do with what he's got going on. You were fucking used. And my heart breaks for you because I know a lot of these cats in the horror community, and they are good, solid people, and they were basically used by Gale to promote himself, to get himself out there, to keep himself fucking relevant so he can keep being a fucking chomo. And that sucks. That really sucks. So my heart goes out to people in the horror community, and my heart goes out even more to the victims, even more than anybody else, to the victims, to the children that were manipulated, hurt, and affected by this, by their families, by their friends, because like I said, it's a ripple. When you are victimized, it doesn't just hit you, it hits other people as well. And I want to say sorry to all the people that he's harassed, adults that he's harassed and victimized. Even though I have nothing to be sorry about, I still feel for you, and I'm sorry that had happened to you, and hopefully we can get this piece of shit off the street. put him away for the rest of his little miserable life. Yeah, so I will keep you guys updated on anything new that happens in this story because I've got notification bells on everything. So as I find out, you guys will find out. And I would like to give a big shout out and thank you to the Stop Ed Gale Instagram page, as well as the CC unit down in Southern California. Ghost, thank you and your crew so much for bringing people like this to light, getting them exposed and getting them put away. Without people like you guys, there would just be more of them running around the world. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will leave the links to their pages in the description, and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Till then, see you on the next one.